essentially it was expired. It was listed for 500, and they had one open house. I don't think anybody came. No showings, no offers. It's so after the call, because he essentially said, I'm firm at 500. I'm not willing to negotiate at all. We'll just stay. He would accept an offer very close to that where he listed. But anyway, so after the call, I just went and looked up his house and looked up houses in the area, and he's probably 50 to 100,000 overpriced for similar properties that sold in the last few months. There's ones that are substantially nicer, larger, more property in the same area for either the same price he wants or less. So he's like way outside the market. It appears to me. So I guess my question is, in a scenario like that, is that worth pursuing? Is that he just has expectations that are unrealistic? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. I'm tracking. I'm actually making notes because I think there's a few things in here we can talk about. The first one I want to ask you this is more of a philosophy, or it gets into the science of prospecting. And sure. So my question for you is this: you said after the call, I went and looked it up. So just out of curiosity, when did you do that relative to the phone call? How much time did it take you to get into the research side?
I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, because I had like a list of calls in Vulcan. So like once I finished Vulcan, I went back and looked them up. So I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Okay.
Well, my question is this. So and we can get into that part later. It's almost a different call, but it actually is important here too, is the research side. If that happens within your call block, I would encourage you to make a lot of dials before you get into any research of any particular property. Okay. So that you're not stopping and starting. So that's like analysis paralysis is what happens with most agents. So if we build the habit of, I'm going to make a bunch of calls and connections, make notes in there, that's fine. And then go back later on somewhere around the 11 o'clock hour after I've made a bunch of calls. Right. Okay. Yep. So otherwise it's the stop and start. If you've done any research, read the One Thing book by Gary Keller. He talks about how long does it take to get into the zone, that sweet spot where you're in the zone, where nothing else, like time stands still and you're focused. It takes about 20 minutes to get back into that zone. And by the way, the brain is completely split on this. That zone of genius you're into when you're in a call session, when you're connecting, when there's like this energy about it, is completely separate and different than the zone of analyzing property and pricing. Okay. So you get what I'm saying? I know that's not what you're asking me here. At the same time, I'd be remiss if I didn't share that, because everything matters. So that's just one thing that came to mind is, well, why are we stopping and starting? Let's just keep on going. We don't have time to be analyzing property at this point. So stay in the zone during the golden hours is making calls and connecting. Then later on, you can do the research and see if it's worth your time or not.